Okay, I see people are understanding. LinkedIn did mess up at the last moment, but could we have had more experience with it to help? Yes. So oh, this is it. This is it. We're getting the experience. Okay, so maybe this is just the way that we run the show from the very start with the title of the content series up until now. It's been a steady stream of figuring it out and nonsense and just good vibes. So hopefully everyone at least has a good time. Okay, so
Good, but always lies. Because from the day one, it was a shit show, pun not intended.
there's definitely something, but it's definitely not a live that you join and then both of the hosts are just quiet and saying, "Okay, let's give people another minute." Does everyone hear me?
We're not giving anyone a minute because we're already running late, as usual, per usual schedules.
It's per usual.
Per usual. I need to say, just so everyone feels safe and comfortable, like all cups are removed. There will be no cups in this show. I'm sorry if you joined for that. Like, you can leave.
So I do have my coffee because I'm gonna be live streaming and working.
No.
Okay, while I'm setting up my Claude environment so that I can screen share it. Can you just walk us through just what might have happened with the title and how it was chosen?
Oh my God. Oh, okay.
Because I feel like you still have some beef with me on that. So let's unpack it.
Let's unpack it. Like this will be also like a therapy session. Okay, so for everyone wondering, like, why we went with this, yeah, let's unpack it. Well, why we went with this title. So Barbara had like brilliant idea. She sent me, and she was like preparing to go back and forth with me on that title. But I was like, this sounds so cute. Let's do it because I genuinely thought it sounds cute. We prepared everything. Topics, what are we going to cover, images, also images. And she also bought a domain. And that she sent me, like, she did everything while I was sleeping because she's in Pacific time zone. I'm in this one. I'm in South. And like I finally the land. I was so freaking excited. And I was thinking, we have such a cute name, such a vibe. And then I went on a business call and like it was I got all edgy and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Wait, they asked you that on a business call? They brought up the title.
God.
I'm so sorry.
And I done and then there I was like unpacking like the humor and one thought that I thought it was super cute. And I wanted, should I know? No, I don't want to know. He explained me, but I was like, okay, I don't want to know. I don't want to know anymore. And I'm like, Barbara, like, Barbie girl, we have a situation like,
You said Houston, we have a problem. And I'm like, I think it's great branding. I don't think it's a problem.
she knew. She knew, and
Of course I knew.
I was, yeah,
Anyway.
frustrated that day, but I figured, okay, let's roll. I'm going to own it. I'm going to own my own non-informed ass. Let's roll. So no backing up.
Yep. No backing. We can back out. But to be fair, I did think that you knew because it's one of those internet of things. It's not like we didn't want it to be sexual, but it's just so catchy. I just didn't know that you didn't know. And I didn't know that people were going to be asking about it and commenting. Just chuckle and be in on the joke with us. Don't comment on it, you freaks.
No, I love that they commented. Like, it made me uncomfortable for 3 business days straight. After 20 minutes before we were going to lose our heads over not wanting to collaborate, I figured we also appeared on Reddit Lunatics, and I'm like, okay, I'm officially famous. I don't care if it's for wrong reason, but marketing is working. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's marketing. So
Exactly. No, I love that we appeared on LinkedIn Lunatics. Yeah, I don't know. It like isn't this supposed to be like something that you don't see all the time on LinkedIn? So that's the vibe we're going for. Is it appropriate for LinkedIn? No, but
I
aren't we all tired? I'm sorry, you can't call an event, let's repurpose a webinar. Kill me. Like I don't want to. So anyway, this is our vibe right now. Okay, let's get this show on the road. I'm going to share my entire screen. Don't take screenshots if you see something weird. Don't be weird about it. Okay. We're going to be working together for a full hour, so it's going to be inconvenient if you can just see one part of my screen. Okay, can I give a quick intro? No, let me ask you first, Boana. How was you recently started working with Claude Cowork and Code? What's your vibe so far? Maybe just give me a little answer while I'm setting up my charging.
I was crying to my friend. She's software engineer, and I was like, download Xcode. I opened the fucking terminal, and I'm just staring there, and I cannot. I can help you. She's engineer, and she's too technical. And I was like, I just need some simple things for marketing. Like, I've been through a lot of tools, a lot of demos. All of those tools are super. Stop drinking. Put that cup up.
Also, a few people just joined, and I think they're very
Yes. So woke up one day and I was like, okay, I really need to figure this out without spending tens of thousands of dollars. And I really need it in my daily workflows for specific tasks that take too much of time for me or anyone who is in my team. And I just need us to speed up, but to keep quality. So I figured, okay, you're running AI agency. So you're basically doing all of these things for your clients. And I'm like, "Ah, I will just rate you and you will send me some rule and then we will I will figure out, like, I just need few simple workflows. So yeah, fast forward, like we're here.
Yep, exactly. Because we were like, we might as well do it on LinkedIn Live because I've been noticing a lot of people, especially marketers, which is interesting because I feel like we're a very adaptable role. Like we know how to work with new technology. We know how to jump on a trend when needed. We know how to test different tools because we know that we're always like one day away from a big chunk of our work being automated. And we're also probably scared for our lives right now. So I think everyone's just trying to figure out these new tools and everything. But there's something about, I think it's because it says code and everyone's, I don't know how to. And
Exactly. Big for me, I don't care with technical stuff. Like figuring out the tools and everything. Like I'm in B2B tech for almost a decade.
yeah,
But even I figured that I'm more comfortable just chatting with inside of Google Chrome and like I do projects and all of those stuff. And it helps me with ton of research and everything, but still I opened few times like Cowork and Code and I was like, what do I do? What can I do? Where do I start? That was the main reason why I ring you because I don't know what it can do and I have zero time like just
yeah.
to actually go through it. I was just chatting with a colleague of mine. She's running sales and she said to me the same thing. I do not have 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week to just figure things out. I need someone to show me. I don't know. Eventually,
Yeah.
we can maybe do a sales series as well because I think that at this point, we should all just adopt engineer inside of our right? Even though I know engineers are pissed about that, but yeah, wrong choice of words. Let's go to the technicals.
Yeah, there's no engineers in our LinkedIn networks. There's not a single engineer here. It's fine. Or maybe we'll get more hate about it. It's fine.
Yeah, they're not one.
How y'all doing? Welcome. But yeah, no, I absolutely get that. And that's why you have me. When you have like an agency, there's only a certain amount of clients that you can take. And if you're not trying to outsource or hire people inside of your agency, that means that your scalability is very capped. But I feel like this year, I just don't have the same concerns that I had last year about, okay, how do we scale? I don't really want the quality of the work to be diluted by hiring someone who's maybe more junior than me. That just didn't really make sense. Like the point of my agency is that me and my co-founder are not junior people. Like we have been in companies working as a head of content and head of growth, and it just doesn't make sense to then hire more junior people than us in the agency to do the work. That's why people hire us, because they don't want some like they want work that's high quality. And if I just keep outsourcing that, that's not really going to work. So I just thought we had this natural cap on how much we can scale and how many clients we can take. But that's why we're also perfectly positioned to honestly spend, I would say that my co-founder spends up to 20 hours a week right now just testing what is possible with Cowork and in code, which is, I understand that's a bit of a unique position because as soon as we unlock something, that directly affects our bottom line. So we are very incentivized to spend time on it. Even if I'm doing it until 2 a.m., I'm doing it until it's fine. We can reap all of the benefits of everything that we discover. But I think maybe that kind of helped us adopt a few of these things much sooner. So yeah, but as with everything else, we're non-technical. So I don't know how anything works in the back end, but I know what I'm adopting for my agency. And again, as someone who's managing multiple clients at once, I have no patience for a workflow that is going to automate like 0.2% of what I'm doing. I can't fragment my processes and workflows if it's not actually going to make a meaningful difference for me in terms of how quickly I can make something. Can I keep up with the quality that I have right now? So all of that needs to happen. So when I say that I'm using something, that means that I kind of pressure tested it against my client work. And I have to keep up with the client work. So if it's not meaningfully contributing to it, it's out the door. I can't use it. So yeah, but I wanted to just start explaining what we're going to go over today. Webinars, yeah.
Can you just, for the folks who do not know, like the difference between Cowork and Code and the thing that is going on Chrome, can you just explain quickly the difference and how they can set up things? Because I knew I needed a guidance for that as well.
Yeah, and I can make this super simple for anyone who's still stressed about, is this in any way technical and is it going to be a big learning curve? The learning curve is essentially zero. Chat is just a version of Cowork, and then that's a version of code. You approach all of them the same way you do in your browser right now. So if you don't see Cowork and Code, that means you don't have the desktop app. You have to download the desktop app to access it because it will essentially be using your entire computer and working within the folders of your computer, which makes it much more powerful than just your in-browser chat. But you are approaching Cowork and Code in the same way that you're approaching chat. You're just talking to it. And I think that's both the issue for people. They think they need to come up with something to put into Cowork or Code. Oh, give me like a prompt or something. I'm like, you just need to talk to it, it's interesting that we're advancing in AI, but it's all based in some of these things like, how well do you communicate and how well did you communicate with people before AI? Because if you struggled with that, you will struggle to communicate with AI as well. If you just like can't really put it into words what you're trying to do, that's also going to be a struggle. So that human aspect is here to stay. So you have to get used to speaking to AI and having an ongoing conversation versus just thinking that you're going to put in a prompt and a bunch of context docs and it's going to be like a done thing. It's very much still a conversation. If you are currently using Claude a lot in terms of Claude chat, and you have certain workflows in Claude chat, you can even say to Claude to summarize the entirety of that chat. So let's say you had a project that you were working on within one chat and you were generating some content or whatever. You can tell it to summarize that and export that as a file and just put it into code and just be like, this is what I did and give it context for it. So if you don't want to start talking to it, you can also just do that. Because I know it's a bit of a transition from browser, which feels it feels safe, you're used to it, to suddenly this like desktop app where, like, for example, you have projects, but you're not approaching them in the same way that you're approaching them in the browser. I had everything structured with my projects, and you don't really have that in the desktop app in the same way. So I understand it's a bit of a transition, but it is essentially the exact same thing. You're chatting to it just like through chat. It's just that now you have a much, much more powerful model that is connected to your essentially any computer or laptop you're working on. The fact that it has access to all of your folders gives it a lot of power that in browser Claude doesn't have. So that's basically the main and only difference.
Yeah, just for the folks who may panic around safety, it doesn't own your computer.
Do we panic about safety? Just take all of my stuff.
You'll have these decide which folder you will give access to. So,
and it's going to keep asking you whether it has access to it.
For permission. So what I did, I took all things that I had on my Google Drive and I just organized it on my, but you can also connect it to Google Drive. So I have something on Drive, something on my laptop. And when I do a certain project, I just connect that certain folder and say, there you can feed, I don't know, brand guidelines, technical guidelines. It depends on what you work on. For example, today we're going to do like assets from webinar. And if you're doing it for a brand, you can feed all the brand guidelines you have, frameworks, templates, whatever you used for previous assets, social media posts, blog posts, whatever you want, and feed it there. And it will take it basically only from that one folder to use what is in webinar and to reframe it in those assets. Of course, you need to include a human needs to go through it, but it is original content because it's taken from webinar where people talk. It's something that your writers on the team will do essentially, like same, like they will copy paste like script and they will just write it on and off. But instead of having the full workday working on that, they can work on multiple assets in 2 hours. So
yeah.
You still need to check it. Please do not blindly just take whatever someone gives you. AI or human, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm like more hesitant to take it from a human. But writers know this. Like when I stand by that.
Yeah. I still remember like the podcast you did for HubSpot. And like the way I mocked you later on, because it was 1 hour podcast where you said, I think more than 20 times, I just don't want to work with humans. I just don't want to work with humans. Like, Barbie, are you cloned?
I was maybe not. I was hoping that part is going to be edited. I am traumatized. I'm traumatized by writers who are delivering a subpar draft that I then need to rewrite 60% of. So yes, I am traumatized. But what I'm essentially trying to say is that there is significant time and energy spent in mediating and being basically a project manager constantly. As a head of content, I was just craving creating something of my own instead of just puppeteering people who were doing like a subpar job, because freelancers don't really care unless you have someone that you really and you work with well, and then you keep that, which I would absolutely pay for still. But
I need to defend my freelancers. My freelancers are the best of the best. Like we really have like high bar for entering the club, but I really do working with people. I do not condemn them if they use AI. I do not forbid, but I do expect a high level of critical thinking, a high level of learning all the technical stuff, product, industry, market, etc., etc. And essentially, like I figured that all the writers that I work with are more than writers, and they know more than just like writing fine letters. They know a lot of about industry, about positioning, about business things. So essentially, they're able to actually add value.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
And I have to fight back because you're pigeonholing me into not liking people anymore. And this is the same thing that the HubSpot episode that they gave me a villain edit for the thing I said. And I was like, this was not the point of the episode. So I enjoy working with people. There's just, I'm sorry, there's certain things that I don't need necessarily to be done by a person if I can get to it. But I'm also speaking from an agency perspective where
Yeah.
every single person I hire is affecting my revenue as a business. So I have to, yeah, I think it's just a different valuation process. But I think that brings us to the main thing with working with Cowork and
Yeah.
Code, which is that you need to have good taste and you need to have good judgment. If I'm non-technical and I'm still making a tool with Claude Code, that is essentially the only thing that I have going for me is having clarity on what I need. And if I don't have clarity, discussing that with AI, okay, this is my challenge. What would be the best solution for it? And now in the era of anyone being able to create some of these internal tools, it is good to ask, is this something that I need? Am I spending these 3 hours building this tool because I'm getting off on being able to do that? Or do I actually need it? And is it actually going to be useful? And that's where exactly what you were talking about, like taste, judgment. These are not just writers. This is someone who deeply understand what they're doing and what kind of outcome they want to have. So 100% absolutely about that. In terms of permissions that you mentioned earlier, you can always select here exactly what permissions you are comfortable giving Claude Code or Cowork. Now, I just click bypass, but that's because I'm comfortable with that. When I work on something with clients, so like I have access to their HubSpot, their workflow, their Webflow, CMS, whatever, I'm obviously not clicking that. I'm not just like yeeting whatever. So I'm just keeping a closer eye. And I do enjoy when you're working with Claude, it's gonna ask you, it's like, do you allow me to do this? Can I have a permission? And then you click it. And it will tell you exactly what it's trying to do. So with clients, I'm obviously more careful. With everything else, I just bypass and it's been fine. It can't log into anything of yours. I see that's a big guardrail that they set up. So like if I was setting up some DNS records for our Substack and I was like, you do it for me. I don't want to be doing that. And it was like, I can't log in. And it was already pre-populated, like my username and password. And it did not want to click on the sign in. And I'm like, it's there, just click it. And he's like, no, I can't. It's like, okay, so there's certain guardrails and that's probably good. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. Even bypass permission does not mean that it's just doing whatever. Yeah. What's up?
Okay, can we show people how we're going to distribute put that fucking
Talk listens. Let me have my coffee.
like we said no cups on oh.
It is noon.
Can we show people now how we're going to distribute this webinar every week? So if they're running webinars, how can they create, for example, LinkedIn posts are out of it, blog posts out of it, and in general, just like reuse the content that's created? Because we're talking about a lot of things here. And if we want to reuse it for different channels, how can Claude help us with that?
Yes. So this is going to be a bit of I'm going to give you a way that I do it for most of my clients. And I will preface this by saying that you can turn this into a more automated solution, which I will show you at the end. So I built a tool that allows you to put in a webinar transcript. So if you are hosting a webinar, it's usually on Zoom or Riverside. It just allows you to download a transcript immediately. So just take that document, you can feed the transcript to it, and it will spit out a Google sheet with all of the content that you want, and you get to set that content. So I will demo that at the end, but I will first show you basically the back end of that. And at the end, we will also give you a markdown file of that tool that currently lives on it's not like a live tool because I just use it for myself. But if you just take that markdown file, if you go to Claude Code and say build it will build it and it will look the same as it does on my computer. And more importantly, you will be able to edit it and adjust it to what you need. So like I need LinkedIn posts, I need blog posts, I need LinkedIn articles. You might need some other stuff so you can work with it. So we will give you the markdown file so you can have something that you can download and immediately implement for yourself. And we will demo it at the end as well. But this is the starting point. Before I made the tool, I was basically creating a workflow that I need. But do you guys have any webinars or something? I have a webinar transcript. I'm just asking if you're hosting any events.
We're hosting like every month a webinar, and also a lot of either people from the team or people from our ecosystem is participating in webinars. So we do a lot of distribution of that, and also we do distribution of our YouTube videos that also have transcripts, etc. So what I usually do, like I give that to either someone who is super senior writer, and I just send them the video and say figure it out. I send them that and queries go. Or now that I have like in-house people, I send them like and figure it out, make the outline for a writer, and then someone who is not super senior can also act on it. But we talked a lot, and because we have a big cadence of articles without that as well, where we need to do a lot of research, a lot of interviews and everything, like we've agreed that it will speed up processes a lot for us if we can just have something already like super prepared and then go and edit it, because it cannot mess up a lot because it's something that the content is already there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think most companies are like that. I rarely see anyone who's able to sustain more than like a monthly webinar. But obviously, it helps if you have a process, because the webinar itself is the least important part. It's all of the promotion that you do before and after it. And this is how we sustain that and how we make sure that all of that is happening on schedule. Because if you're done with the webinar and then you send like a follow-up email after the webinar with a recording or like an edited video or whatever resources you mentioned afterwards, if you send it like a week after, it's done. It's over. People already forgot about it. So it needs to happen quickly. So I'm going to use a webinar transcript first I'm going to connect it to this specific client's folder. So the way I have this structured is that every single one of my clients has a context doc folder where everything goes. Every single thing I have on them, updated guidelines, ICP info, competitor info, everything about their products, demo transcripts. Basically, just take everything that you have and put it in there. And another really good thing is adding any presentation that might have been used during the webinar. That's going to basically help it create really good visuals for all of these social media posts and blog posts, because it has a branding to pull from. And then it becomes much, much easier. When it doesn't have that, when it just has like maybe some main branding aspects like logo, colors, and whatever, the result is not as good. You have to like really work with it. You have to give it inspiration. You have to give it how you want it to look like. And it all takes time. Like every single iteration you give it, it does take time. So I understand the frustration there. But if you have, and it doesn't have to be a presentation from the webinar, it can also be, for example, like a sales deck, anything that has your branding, really. It will prove from it and it will make a much better result. So it's connected to the context doc folder. I'm just gonna, the transcript is probably in there as well, but let me just, okay. So this is just the regular webinar transcript. I didn't clean it up at all. I just downloaded directly off of Riverside. Now, this approach, what I'm doing now, versus an automated, you dump a webinar transcript into a tool and then it generates a Google Doc from you. The difference there, and everyone can figure out what works best for them, and it's probably going to depend on how much time you have. But I do content and marketing, which means that's my main focus for all of my clients. I don't mind taking a bit of a slower approach in order to get a higher quality output. If we're hosting webinars every single month, if I really create like a tool or a specific workflow that works great to generate all of this content, I don't also want to do that every single month without like at least sitting down and being like, okay, how do we make what was special about this month's webinar? Can we make this a little bit more creative? You don't want to follow the same format every single month. Like you still need to be there as a human to make sure that the quality of the output is not just great, but that it's also innovative and originals. Because why are they, as if you're a marketer currently worried about their job, then add some of that time and energy to creating an output that's sit down, think about it, look at the chat, look at the output, work with it. Don't just expect that it's all going to land in a Google Doc and then you're like, my work is obsolete. It's because you're just clicking generate, and Claude can do that now for you too. So it doesn't, let's take this approach where we are still very much involved in the process, because the results are better. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so I agree totally with you. So you opened the Cowork, actually not code, so Cowork, and you connected the client's folder with all needed information that can help Claude to think and to actually repurpose the script. You actually added the script itself, and now what do you do?
Awesome. Okay, so let me just stress test this for a little bit. If I turn on my transcriber, let me know if Riverside like breaks or something. Is this okay? Okay, because Zoom breaks down immediately. Okay, so this is how I do most of my work. It's easier to just transcribe what you want to tell to AI. If this was for my client and maybe we're hosting some of our first webinars, what I would also do before generating any content, I would download the entire RSVP list from the first webinar, and I would tell AI to basically segment that list so that I can see who were the attendees. It doesn't matter if they actually showed up, anyone who clicked RSVP. I just want to see what their role and title is, what industry they're in, what their company is, and what is the company size. And that can already guide your content. If you are someone who has like hundreds and hundreds of attendees for webinars, you might want to consider having a targeted approach for all of this content for each of these ICPs. So if you identify 3 or 4 core roles and they happen to also be in your ICP for the product that you're trying to sell that you can then pitch after the webinar, you might want to have a specific email or even specific social media posts that you can then turn into ads for all of these ICPs. So I would do that first. If this is like your first, second, third webinar, you can keep an eye on your RSVPs, but the reality is, if you're hosting a webinar series, I don't think there's suddenly for the 4th one is going to be like 100% different ICP. That's just probably not really going to happen. Wait, actually, I should not have been transcribing this entire time. So right now, is it transcribing?
Okay, it's transcribed now.
No. Oh, there it is. Is it fine? So you're making me stressed. What's happening?
You go.
Okay, now I'm basically just regurgitating everything that I think about this webinar and that I want him to make. So look at the webinar transcript attached and take into account all of the company info that you have through the context docs folder. I want you to look through the entire transcript and outline the most engaging and insightful ideas that I can use for inspiration for social media posts. The posts need to be engaging, valuable to my audience, and insightful. There needs to be enough original and valuable information shared in the webinar that I can then repurpose into these social media posts. Keep in mind my ICP that you can also see through the context docs and everything you know about the company.
Ooh, magic. Okay, just for the people who don't know what's happening, so it's not some D&D magic. So Barbie has a self-help app because she doesn't like to type. She is content person, but she comes from academic of arts. So she's not into typing. She's not into working with people, or she's not into typing.
And you know what? It makes me much faster.
She's just creative soul. Yeah, we will also add the transcriber so you can check it and use it yourself if you're more into speaking to Claude rather than typing to Claude. I'm more like type typing girl.
Yeah.
Who can type, work with people. She starts not working with people and speaking.
It's making more and more sense why you did not understand where the title of our series is coming from.
Come on.
But anyway, I don't like the transcription tool I like because it's faster than typing and you give more context by default. When you type, there is a process of you're reiterating what your thoughts are, and you're choosing what to say. You're not just saying everything that's on your mind. And I just feel like the more context and details I give it, the better it is at understanding what I want, even when I don't get what I want. So when I have something that I'm making a strategy or I need like a specific type of content, and it's usually when I'm trying to do something we're all trying to create content that's out of this like annoying frame of there's just a certain type of content on LinkedIn and everyone just follows that format. And I deeply enjoy creating content that's not like that. And if I just turn on the transcriber and I just give it my thoughts, we'll see how this looks. If I just transcribe a lot and I just say what's on my mind, oftentimes it will do much better, especially if you're someone who's make me a LinkedIn post and make it good. Okay, it's not gonna be good.
And make it good. I love it.
And making it optimize it for engagement. I see a lot of marketers saying that, and I'm like, that means nothing. That essentially means nothing to your AI.
Yeah, but we have results. Okay.
We have results. Okay, so love that it's saying source. It's understanding for whose LinkedIn is, what the audience is. So it's outlining all of that in the beginning, how to use this outline. Goodbye. And then it's just outlining basically every single idea that they presented in that webinar. Core idea, angle for the post, tone format, possible hook line. I like these because oftentimes I see that the AI is more succinct and punchy and clear in this hook line than if I just tell it's over, okay, write that post. This part is usually going to be better. I don't know why, but it's just because it's trying to present the idea very clearly to you. And when you tell it to write a post, I think it's just trying to be a bit more prosaic, have a more flowery language.
Sorry, I can't remember. Did you ask him for a punchy line or like you have that somewhere in project?
It's possible I have it in my context docs, what it produced for earlier webinars. So it's possible that it's pulling this format from before, but honestly, I wouldn't say that this is like necessarily the format that I would always need it in. I just need to see what this is essentially. I noticed that it always gives you a hook. ChatGPT does that as well. It gives you a hook by default because it's trying to sell you on the idea. So I don't think this is anything that I like consciously set up unless it's pulling from my context docs. But yeah, if you can also just tell it, if in the first prompt you could be like, write the outline of the idea and then share insights on it, put a bullet point. Yeah, like give me something.
Hooks that will send me to lunatics on Reddit.
I can't believe that's a Reddit thing, like LinkedIn lunatics, and I can't believe we're on it. Anyway, cool, great.
So, what do you do now from this step with all these materials that you got from?
Let's transcribe again, and hopefully you guys didn't lose me. You were okay, great. Okay, take all of the social media post outlines. I like the ideas, and I want you to try to write the drafts for each of them. You have to use the context docs from the folder to understand Neil's writing style and tone of voice. And you need to make sure that you are replicating his writing style and tone of voice for these drafts. And you can even see the context docs are shown here, and you can see that I have literally the guy's writing style and tone of voice. So writing that's either from the founder or For most of mine, it's just like the things that I wrote for them and they liked, and now that's their writing style.
Okay.
And I have a little cheat sheet, which is just, it's annoying. Where is it? I basically, yeah, I keep a running list of just don't, all of those very specific AI writing stuff. I just have a running list of them and I just say, don't do this. So don't use M dashes, don't use staccato sentences, don't use passive voice if you can use active, don't use shift, gap, leap.
Yeah. I have those for writers as well. So I have different like brand guidelines, content guidelines, delivery guidelines. I have guidelines for everything. Like in content guidelines, there is what you must do and what you should refrain from and what shouldn't be and will not be tolerated. I made it again to gamified, but it's like I'm very serious about it. And what I figured with all this like vibe coding and automation, research and everything with Claude and Lovable is that if you have really good understanding of what you are doing and what you're aiming for, like you will get good results.
Yeah.
Even great, if I can say. But if you're there and you're just like, as you said, make me a post and make it good and optimize for what?
Yeah. What I'm doing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What am I doing? Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah, we go back to the beginning when you said if you are not able to give clear instruction to a human, like you won't be able to give clear instructions to AI. So
Yeah. It really is as simple as that. And especially if you work with highly regulated industries. So like I work with a lot of finance startups. What you can say and cannot say is actually very clearly defined. And you can say bank, you can't say, there's certain things that are like they will actually get in trouble for saying, and all of that has to be accounted for. Now, with Claude and working specifically with Cowork and Code that is based on a certain folder that you have on your laptop, that process works much better than it did with ChatGPT, where I would have to keep reminding ChatGPT to like, you have to account for this folder, because ChatGPT also had project files, so it's not like you didn't have access to them, but it didn't have the context and the memory within the chat to keep referencing and pulling from them, which meant that if I'm making a batch of social media posts, I have to constantly keep reminding it. And then at the end, I would be like, can you just do me a favor and do a triple check just to make sure? And then it would always find something. And that's where my distrust of everything comes from. But with Claude, it's much, much easier because it's directly pulling from the context docs and it's taking it into account with everything that it does within this chat. So I just don't have to repeat myself anymore as much as I did with OpenAI.
Yeah, I have a theory that ChatGPT is just a smaller retarded brother to all other LLMs.
It's like that's shots fired. Let's go.
No one is going to ban me for that. Okay, we got the post. What we do that? Because we have like very, like maybe 10 minutes more because we were late.
Yeah. Yes, and I want to give a demo to the other tool as well. And just a note, I don't care about what model I'm using. I just care that the work is good. So if I need to switch to another model tomorrow, I don't care. 2025, I was only using ChatGPT. I think I use ChatGPT now for, I don't know, I'm like cooking and I need a recipe for something and I just quickly search for it. I'm just using Claude now. So I don't care which model it is. I just care that it's the best one. So not loyal at all. No loyalty. None. I can't afford loyalty in this business.
Super fun. You say someone who was your friend from high school.
Okay, you know me from high school. It's for life. It's for life. If we're still friends, that means that it's working well. Despite the title. Okay, just quickly wrap this up. So now I literally just sit down, I put my thinking cap on, I act as just a mean editor, which is essentially the entirety of my work now. So I'm just like, okay, you specifically use the sentence structure that I told you not to. So you can't say most hospital systems aren't struggling with patient experience because they don't care. That's the sentence structure that you are not allowed to use. Every opening line has to be clear, concise, and understood without context. You have to make sure that the format is a bit more engaging because this is for LinkedIn. It's not an article. We can't have blocks of text. Don't use staccato sentences. Don't use short sentences like nobody is wrong. And then you go through the entire draft and you just say what you don't like about it, and then it's going to fix it for you. So instead of just taking this draft and then copying it somewhere and telling your team to look at it, you need to go through several iterations of it. I still work on some LinkedIn posts for an hour if it's like an important launch or something. So that's basically what I do. I'm not going to go through all of them now because that's going to take a ton of time. But that is what I do with every single social media post. Yes. Yeah. I'm just
80s or 90s, like the board can cancel everyone. We're so offended. Become like a trend.
Yeah, you're just an editor because that's essentially what our work is now. It's just taste and judgment, it's a difficult thing to learn. So there is a moat there for marketers. It's you need to be the one that looks at this draft and says if it's good or not. And if it's not good, you need to be able to point out why it's not good. And that's literally all of the work right now. Just to wrap up on our time, because I want to demo the tool that I made to automate all of this and kind of show how we did it, and then let people download the markdown file. This is essentially what I would be doing for all of the LinkedIn posts, for articles, for LinkedIn articles. So I make blog content from each of the webinars. If a webinar was pretty good in terms of like insights, you will get a minimum of 5 blog posts out of it. There's a lot of information there. And it's just pulling on some of the other stuff that we're talking about now. But anyway, I would do this for all of the emails. Again, you can pull from that ICP that you figured out by downloading their RSVP list. And I go through it one by one. Is it the most time efficient? No. Does it give me the highest quality of work? Yes, because people are not going to be paying me as an agency if I'm delivering the first draft that Claude spits out. They can do that as well. That's not where the work is. Every single social media post, I edit it several times exactly like this. Like I read the draft and I say what I don't like. And the beauty of Claude is that it learns from everything that you say about it. So it's gonna learn from that. So if I keep this chat going, it's gonna understand what I said before, and I don't have to keep referencing it.
Is that specifically for co-work? Or it can also work for a browser chat and project?
I think no. Get out of the browser.
Yeah.
It's enough of the browser. No, because it's pulling also from yeah, because you need the context docs as well. And I know that the browser option has projects. It's not the same thing. This is pulling directly from all of the docs you have in your computer, which means you can add much more than you can in your browser. Especially ChatGPT has a very limited amount of docs that you can put in there in the projects. So it's quite inconvenient, but this way you can just keep feeding it. And with most of my clients, we've been working together for years. So there's a lot of content that it can use, and the results are just infinitely better when it has all of that understanding. So just get the desktop app. It's not a big deal.
But while you're searching for that product you want to show that you made in code, I just wanted to comment that I want to go to Cowork and code, but like by algorithm, I go to browser every time. And I figured I use it simultaneously. So while code or Cowork are doing something, I can go to browser or something.
Yeah.
And also whenever I have a challenge with Cowork or Claude, I ask browser how to fix that. We live in a matrix.
Yeah. Although just ask Claude Code what to do and to fix it. Sometimes if I'm running,
I cannot ask him. I'm asking the browser. The browser is still the king.
Have you tried bullying it? Because I think that works really well.
I still think, please and thank you.
Okay. I get that capstone going.
When they take over, I'm safe.
Okay. Essentially what me and my co-founder did, because we have most of our clients do webinars, so this is a lot of what we do. I basically took one of the full chats of me generating all of this content from a webinar transcript, and I told it to just give me a summary of everything what was my workflow. Like tell it from, say from like all of the chats that I did through that one specific chat. What was I doing? What did I need? What were the results that I wanted? So that I can essentially create a workflow for myself. Now, I do this specifically for each client, and we built this tool for each client. And if you think that's like a lot, it took us like 2-3 hours to build this. It's really not a lot. And again, we're non-technical people. If you have any technical knowledge, this will be even easier. But we essentially took this, went into Claude Code, and just said, this is the workflow I need, build it. And it did. We obviously you have to sit down, and like a lot of the times it would be like, okay, I need your help with connecting this and this. And this also just lives on my laptop. It's not live. So we didn't really connect it or publish it anywhere, but I can just like, access it with this link. But yeah, it just built this. We really didn't do that much apart from have a very clear workflow and a very clear idea of what we need. It also helps you set up all of this. I was like, I don't know where to get the API key, and then it just guides you to it. So it's quite easy. And then now what you can do is just take the transcript. We're just going to do test. Doesn't matter. You can, if you need more stuff, like to be very specific for each webinar, you can also do that. And this is generated. So what this essentially does, this is like a stripped down version of what we do for each of our clients, just because I don't want to like show for each specific client. Sorry, that might be a little gatekeepy of me, but we build stuff like this specifically for the clients, and I think that's much of the value. But this is like a stripped down version. So each of this, when we build this for clients, it's the same thing, but it's pulling from a very specific set of prompts and context docs within our folder, the same ones that you saw through Claude Cowork. So we have very specific context docs that outline writing styles, exactly what our previous promos have looked like, so they can see what kind of formats we like. Everything is outlined there. And the more you have that, the better this output is going to be. And for some of our clients that we've been having webinars for more than a year now, we just have a lot of that legacy content and context. So this first, whatever it spits out, honestly, it gets you 70% there. And then fine, take another 30 minutes and work with a few posts that you maybe didn't think were on par. But it can really get you most of the way there. And you'll see now when it creates a Google Doc, it's specifically what we told it to make. So we need LinkedIn posts, we need blog, we need emails. But that can be up to you. So when we give you the markdown file, which I'm gonna put the link in the comment. You can take it.
Put the link now because we're
okay
in a few minutes.
Okay. Wait, let me just quickly do some live debugging. But see, it's fine. It works. It's mine.
You give Ross now. You give Ross.
But anyway.
Bye.
Open Google Doc. It's literally all here. You have LinkedIn posts, you have a newsletter recap, you have short form video scripts. So it basically looks through the whole webinar and it says what could be the most engaging video for social media there. Video editing is still a bitch and there's no good AI tool. So I basically use this to like manually edit what I need, which sucks. And I really hope that someone gets on that soon because I don't want to be editing videos from scratch. And then email follow-up sequences. Now, this is just what I needed. It's a very baseline version. If you need other stuff, you just tell it what you need.
So when put the link in the chat.
Yes, let me do that.
I'm doing the talking. So when they get the markdown file, they basically just need to go to Claude Code and say, build me this and to upload Markdoc and then iterate with code to make changes if they need.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that person is so on point. Did I just hear in the era of, did I just speak like AI? Anyway.
She became AI native. I cloned and I didn't know.
Clone me, outsource me. I don't care. Anyway, so if you not to shout out ourselves, but if you just subscribe to this Substack, we will send a follow-up with a recording of this and with the markdown file, because I can't link to the file here. I just have it on my laptop. But we will essentially link to a markdown file that you can then take and go into Claude Code and just say, build me this. And it will build you literally this. You will have the same thing on your laptop. But what you can then do is the most important part, because once it gives you this, you can say, okay, but I don't like that they are asking for short video transcripts or whatever. I don't need that. Instead, I need this. Tell Claude Code what you need, and it will then literally make those changes live. So you can take this as a baseline and then build whatever you need into this tool. You can make it as complex or as simple as you can. This is just a baseline, so like it really doesn't get more simple than that. But you can take this and you can make it specific to what your team needs, which is the actual power of it, that it's tailored to you. So you're not using someone's SaaS that has a bunch of other stuff that you might not need and you're paying a lot of it every month. Sit down, take 3 hours. I don't know, just sit down with a glass of wine in the evening and just do it. I get that we're all busy. I get that we have calls during the day, so it's challenging. You're going to need 2.5 hours to do this. And Claude Code is going to tell you exactly what you need to do. Again, we're non-technical, so